Is it reasonable to believe, given what we just said about the Clippers and the Suns, is it reasonable to believe that the Sacramento Kings will have to, meaning a necessity, they have to get better defensively to secure a playoff spot?
No.
I actually agree with that.
To secure a
playoff spot.
To move forward in the playoffs.
See,
probably so.
And that's the thing that I feel like we've talked about like a little bit, but not really. Like we've kind of like tiptoed around, you just taking baby steps here. Let's beat Portland. Let's come out the gate and beat Portland and kind of go from there. Let's secure this playoff spot. But is it just like, they made the playoffs? Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can this team win a playoff series? This is the top offense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
There is something I noticed regarding them that is unique to them. They're the only team in the top 6 of either conference in terms of standings.
Mm-hmm.
That's also in the bottom 6 defensively.
Mm.
They're the only one in either conference.
Mm.
And I don't know what that means. Either it's an ultra elite offense,
right,
or at some point maybe this catches up with them.
Well, I think both things could be equally true. I think they're an ultra elite offense. And I also think that you're going to have to defend on some level in the playoffs to move forward, to be one of these teams that gets to a conference finals or an NBA finals. One of the things that I thought about, though, because remember, when we say things about the NBA, about the final 25 games, playoff basketball,
it gets tougher.
These things apply to everybody in the league except the Kings. The Kings will not get tougher. Somehow they won't be focused the final 25 games. The Dallas Mavericks, final 25, that playoff. Well, I tell you, it's going to be tough playing against Kings. They're just going to still remain soft. I'm like, how's that work? Like they're not going to play tougher? It's crazy. But
well, I'll say this, and I agree with you, by the way. But I'll play the devil's advocate. The hell do they know? They ain't never been here. They ain't never been down the final 25 games of the season to where they matter.
Mm-hmm. That could be that could be a gift and a curse.
Could be.
People only look at it as a curse,
right,
for the Sacramento Kings.
Mm-hmm.
There's other times when people, and I think this is something that happened with like Atlanta when they made the Eastern Conference Finals. They didn't know no better. They was out there playing with confidence and played basketball, played loose and free, and they won some games.
Then they got entitled and have been getting their ass kicked ever since.
Pretty much. Well, they got rid of Kayvon too. That was a big mistake.
Sucks for them.
Thanks for us though. But there's times like that. Chris Biederman was talking about the Warriors. The Warriors, I think, when they made the playoffs with Steph for the first time, I think they won their first round playoff series.
Okay.
I think they beat Denver and pushed San Antonio to 6 games. They had never been through it. That group had never been through it. They just got done winning, I think, 23, 24 games.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't know no better. They went in there into the playoffs and they handled business. So it could work that way. But the other thing that I think about is I think it was Wilsey. Somebody yesterday mentioned a stat about how, it might have been you as well, mentioned a stat about how the Kings haven't lost the second game of those 2-game series yet this year.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that indicative of a team that in a series will make necessary adjustments from game to game?
Yeah. That's I think Chris Biederman actually brought that up yesterday.
Sure.
But yeah, that 100% is my belief.
Yeah.
That it's a team that adjusts and can adjust quickly. It would be interesting to go back. Denver comes to my mind right away. The first game was close.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas kicked their ass that Friday. Like they fought. They definitely fought back, and we acknowledge it was that first quarter on that Friday night that beat them up. Is there a Warriors? Like what are the other ones?
The
There's Houston.
Houston, two with Houston.
Oh, those are the okay. So 2 with Houston. I feel like okay. So going back to the first Houston series, wasn't that the birth of Matt George? Oh, it's too close.
Yeah,
It's too close of a win.
It was.
If I remember correctly, you're better at this than I am. The second one wasn't close.
Second one was not close. It was
They
close
opened
for a
up
half,
early.
and then they opened. Well, it was close for a half, and then they opened up in the third quarter.
Okay.
The first time they opened up in the fourth quarter.
Okay. And that wasn't good. That wasn't good enough for Matt.
That wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
They did it with Minnesota. At Minnesota was a 2-game set.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost the first one and won the second one.
What first one?
117, 110. They just kind of didn't really shoot the ball really well. They just didn't win. They
didn't have a chance to win.
Yeah. And then in the second one, they went into overtime, but it probably shouldn't have. McDaniels with the travel at the end of that game. So they got 2 more. They got Oklahoma City with 2 on the road, and they've got Portland with 2 on the road. And I just, even regardless of how those go, say they lose the second game of those 2, I still think this is a coaching staff that will make adjustments. You got to play Mike Brown going back on his infamous line. It didn't get me here to coach regular season games.
That's right.
I'm a playoff proven coach. And he's been through every imaginable playoff series that you can think of, type of playoff series, finals, conference finals, first round, young team, old team, not expected to win, expected to win, all these other stuff. And he's seen it all. And I believe whatever happens in a game 1 or 2 or something like that, they'll be ready to make necessary adjustments throughout a playoff series. And I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that if they're not playing defense up to people's standards right now in the regular season, that they won't do things necessary in a playoff series to either improve on the defense, or if somebody has them bottled up on the offensive end, be able to make the adjustments to free themselves of that and score the way they need to win.
Okay.
Just an observation.
Or 57.
7? I don't know.
As I'm searching for the number, Kenny just gives me his best guess. 57, 58, 59. But he's right. It's one of those. I don't know how much is going to change for this team defensively through the next few weeks, next few months.
Mm-hmm.
My frustration lies kind of where it's always been, though. And it's not frustration right now because they're still winning games and they're still winning games at a solid clip. But I think they're oftentimes a better defensive team than they show. My concern actually is starting to lie with what you talk about in terms of their superpower. When they are a little bit better defensively, that a lot of times means for good or bad, the shots aren't falling for them, and they're searching for a way to. So they're going to ramp up their defensive intensity. When the game gets to be low scoring, or lower scoring than normal, that's where like I get concerned about them having some hiccups. And in a lot of those games, they're playing from behind. It's like, okay, the shot's not falling. We've got to do something else.
Yeah.
Step up a little bit defensively. Maybe we're creating easier baskets on the other end. We've seen it. We've seen them cut into leads that way. But a lot of times they're cutting into leagues, and it's you're in the fourth quarter in the final minutes, and you're at like 106, 107, 105. You're in, and those are the games that I feel like are difficult for them to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they struggle with when the game's a little more low scoring and when it slows down or whatever the case may be. But I think there's a misconception that playoff basketball they struggle because the game's going to slow down and all this other stuff. I don't think that's the case. I think when the games are that low scoring, it's because they're not making shots. I talk about it every time. Will Z brings it up every time. It's the wide open look. They don't get any less wide open shots when they're not scoring. They're just not hitting them. And I know playoffs are different and all this other stuff. I think they'll get the same type of looks in the playoffs they'll have the same type of ability in the playoffs. It's that offense, it's that personnel that they're going to score. They're going to score. It's much like the 7 seconds or less Phoenix Suns. It's much like the Kings teams that we knew in the past. They're going to score. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this offense is with Sabonis, Fox, Herter, Keegan. All they're going to get buckets, even in the playoffs. It's just a matter of whether they're able to hit the shots or not.
Any particular? Are you concerned about any player down this final stretch hitting shots?
No, maybe Harrison.
Harrison, really?
Yeah, just because Harrison's so up and down.
But I don't really feel like he's been up and down this year. Like I don't think he's had more down moments than any other player. I feel like Kevin Huerter has had a stretch more recently that's like
he has. Kevin Huerter, though, what he's been able to do, and I love to see it, is he's been able to tap into the ability to find other ways to score. Like the catch and shoot three hasn't been falling at the clip that we would hope it would. But you look up at the box score, he's still got 14, 16 points, because he's curling off those Sabonis dribble handoffs and getting into the lane and hitting a little mid range and things of that nature. He's done that without, I think it's gotten better, but he still isn't like the free throw shooter I'd want him to be, and he's still finding a way to be effective in that way. So that's it. But still, that is a concern. The fact that he's not hitting at the clip that we saw earlier in the season,
or anything close to it. I was the only one who thought he was going to shoot 79% from three all year.
But Harrison is the one.
I'm not worried.
I don't want to see Harrison have like these 5-point games. Multiple 5-point games.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. When was the last time that happened?
Probably 2-3 games ago.
No, I mean for a stretch.
Oh.
Because he had stretches, was it last year?
Yeah.
Where it was like, hey, bro, what are you doing? I mean, I know he had stretch. I know like this year wasn't the best for HB to start. Yeah, he's had a couple of single-digit points over the last dozen games or so. He had an 8, a 7, a 9, an 8.
Compare that to his January, where he was.
Yeah, his January was insane. He was. He was
but to
ridiculous.
your point, he's been. Well, December and January, he was like all double figures all the time.
Yeah.
November was spotty, and now February was spotty.
Yeah, in the to play up this term, the February spotty is actually a lot lower than the November spotty. Mm-hmm. So his highs in November were a lot higher. Mm-hmm. His highs now are just 13, 16, 11, whereas in November it was 23, 24, 22, those types of numbers, and then he's got the 8s, the 9s, and the 7s. He scored 9. They won by 20. They scored 8. They lost. He scored 8. They lost by 8. He scored 7. They lost by 32.
Damn.
I mean, he scored 8 against Minnesota. They won by 7. It
scored 23 and they lost.
Yeah, let me conduct an exercise here real quick. Give me one Will Z. Oh boy.
Okay, 20-second timeout here on the live broadcast.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man.
Oh no, I don't like that.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, wait a minute. How bad could it be when Harrison scores single digits? It's not good. He scored single digits 13 times this year. Forgot about this game, including 0.
Oh my God.
In a 3-point loss to the Warriors.
Oof.
Let's see record. Let's see. That's 1, 2. That's 5 losses, 6 losses, 7 losses. I guess that's not that bad. Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not good. Is that 5 and 7? Oh no, it's 8 losses because of the one highlighted too. Yeah, not good. Not good, man. It's like 5 and 8. is the record when he scores single digits.
What do you think? What do you think about Keegan down the stretch?
Yeah, so that's the other name I was going to bring up. I don't know, and I don't think any of us do. Like,
You think you know,
yeah,
but you really don't know.
we all know Keegan is a super talented player. We all know Keegan has a really high, like Keegan's got a lot of growth ahead of him. We have no clue what Keegan is going to look like the next 20 some odd games. He's had like literally every type of game imaginable. I have no idea. I think Keegan's going to drop. I think he's going to have some 20-point nights. I think he's going to have some 7-point nights also.
Yeah. Keegan,
I just hope the 20s are more than the 7s.
Keegan really surprised me with his numbers, like his 3-point shooting numbers. He's shooting like 41% or something from beyond the arc. Is it just me, or it doesn't feel like he's shooting that well? I'm not saying he's shooting bad, but I'm like, damn, he really is shooting 40% from three. Doesn't feel like he's shooting 40% from three.
Yeah, he's shooting 41.5% from three. I think it's maybe that he just doesn't take a ton. Like he's not a volume 3-point shooter.
See, I disagree. I think all he takes is threes.
Oh, I didn't think that. What's the most threes he's taken in a game?
Probably like 11.
Yeah, he's had 12, 12, 11, 10. Those were all really good nights for him. I don't know why I made this complicated. And well, I don't have it in front of me. That's why. I don't know what's a volume 3-point shooter.
Well, I guess we're saying two different things.
He's had 7+ threes in 21 games.
What I was getting at was that's his shot, right? Like there'll be times when like the last game, he took 7 field goals, 6 of them were threes. Game before that, all 5 shots were threes. You know, the majority of his shots when he went off against Houston, he took 17 shots, 12 of them were threes. Game before that, 7 shots, 6 of them were threes. Like I think that's like and it's okay. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying like that's what he does. He shoots a bunch of threes, which goes to the fact that like he only shoots threes really, and for him to shoot 41% is pretty good. I just didn't feel like he was shooting that well. I knew he was shooting okay from three, but I mean 41% from your rookie season, that's really good. I was surprised to see he was shooting that good percentage-wise.
And those single-digit scoring games he has are like he's searching for the three, and like he's got he's got a 1-8, an 0-8, and a 1 he's got multiple 1-8s. He's got like 4 of them in his single-digit scoring games. That's where he wasn't getting involved in other ways, which I think is something he's done better in the second part of the season. We'll come back.